With less than 3 months until the Republican National Convention, Texas Senator Ted Cruz is pounding the campaign trail. He's fighting for every delegate, and while voters in 5 eastern and mid-Atlantic states are going to hold polls tomorrow, well, tonight Senator Cruz is campaigning in Indiana. He joins us from the Hoosier State, the great state of Indiana. Senator, welcome back to the program. How are you, sir?
Thank you, Sean. Great to be with you. Very glad to be here.
Appreciate you coming back. All right, let's start with the alliance that has made so much news today between you and John Kasich. And what does this mean? Some have been very critical. Others have been very supportive, I guess, based on who they're supporting. Tell us from your perspective what's going on.
Well, listen, Governor Kasich made the decision to pull out of the state of Indiana and to focus his time and energy in other states. And we've made the decision to go all in Indiana. I am here now. I'm in Greenwood, Indiana right now. We are barnstorming the state. We're on a bus tour. I'm here with my 2 little girls, and we are traveling the state, working to earn the votes of the men and women in this state. I think Indiana is going to be a critical state. It's really going to be at the crossroads of these primaries. They vote a week from tomorrow. I'm encouraged by the support we're seeing here on the ground in Indiana.
All right, let's talk a little bit about the whole delegate strategy, because you believe this will be a contested convention. Mathematically, it would be very hard for you to get to 1237, maybe after tomorrow impossible. So the question is, why are you so confident it'll be a contested convention? And what's the strategy? Walk us through the strategy of how you think you win the nomination in that environment.
Sure, Sean. Where we are now, nobody is going to get to 1237. The only way to win the nomination is to earn a majority of the delegates, and nobody's going to do that. I'm not going to do it, but neither is Donald Trump, which means we're headed into a contested convention. We'll go into Cleveland. I'll have a ton of delegates. He'll have a ton of delegates. And it's going to be a battle to see who can earn the support from a majority of the delegates elected by the people. And I think in that battle, we will have a tremendous advantage, because what we're seeing happening nationally is we're seeing the Republican Party unite behind our campaign, in large part because nationwide some 65 to 70% of Republicans recognize that if Donald Trump is our nominee, Hillary Clinton wins. Hillary wins by double digits. And if Hillary wins, the consequences for this country are catastrophic. We lose the Supreme Court, we lose the Senate, we might even lose the House. And we're trapped with trillions more of debt and economic stagnation. I'm not willing to let that happen. I don't think Republicans want to let that happen. And so I think at a contested convention, we are going to earn the support, build together and unify the party, earn the support of a majority of the delegates, win the nomination, and then we're going to go on and beat Hillary Clinton in November.
Donald Trump has a big lead going into tomorrow's 5 states. You're in Indiana. Is Indiana now must win for you, do you think, to get to that place? Is it that important?
Indiana is certainly a very important state. You know, obviously last week Donald won his home state of New York. A lot of folks in the media went crazy with excitement that he won his home state. You know, look, everyone expected Donald to win his home state. The 3 weeks that preceded that, a total of 5 states voted. We had voting. We had Utah, we had North Dakota, we had Wisconsin, we had Colorado, we had Wyoming. And in those 5 states, 1.3 million people voted, and we won 5 landslides in a row, one after the other, 5 landslides in a row. I think that's indicative of the party uniting. Now, tomorrow, as you mentioned, we've got some northeastern primaries. It may be a good night for Donald. Those states tend to be more aligned with New York. They tend to be more on the left end of the spectrum, so he may have a good night. But then, right after tomorrow, the race is going to shift back west. And as it shifts back west, there are a lot of states that I think are going to be very good. It shifts to Indiana, it shifts to Nebraska, North Dakota, Montana, and then the big enchilada of California. California's 172 delegates, and I believe we're going to do very well in California.
All right, Senator, stay right there. We have some issues to get to. We have some ISIS in the news. We have some immigration issues in the news.
Yeah.
We'll have more with Senator Ted Cruz right after this quick break. And welcome back to Hannity as we continue with 2016 GOP Republican presidential candidate, Texas Senator Ted Cruz. Senator, I don't know if you saw this. There's 1 in 5 families in the United States, 1 in 5, that, or 20%, in which not one person in the family is working. Now, we keep hearing from the administration, oh, the unemployment rate is going down. They don't count the long-term unemployed, the chronically unemployed. How bad is this?
Sean, people are hurting all across the country, and I believe the most important issue in this entire elections is jobs and economic growth. My number one priority as president will be jobs and economic growth, and it's the reason our message is resonating so powerfully here in Indiana. It's the reason our message is resonating in Pennsylvania, in Maryland, and all across the country. The American people are fed up with the Obama-Clinton stagnation. As you know, we've got the lowest percentage of Americans working of any year since 1977. And, you know, it's every candidate talks about economic growth, but I'm the only candidate with a real concrete policy solution to bringing back growth. The key to growth is small businesses. What both JFK and Ronald Reagan understood is that when you cut taxes and reduce regulations on small businesses, you get millions and millions of new high-paying. What I will do as president is follow the path that JFK and Reagan blazed. We're going to repeal every word of Obamacare. We're going to pass a simple flat tax, abolish the IRS, rein in the regulators, stop the war on coal, and we're going to stop amnesty and end sanctuary cities.
Well,
and the effect
of
that is going to be millions of new jobs.
We got new numbers from the Border Patrol. 2014 was a record in terms of the illegal immigration, and Border Patrol released Friday statistics that show that illegal immigrants coming into this country is up 40%. On top of that,
yes,
that Minnesota guy that wanted to join ISIS, he literally described plans of ISIS coming through our southern border to commit acts of terror in the United States, and still, Republicans, Democrats, they still haven't built the wall that they've been promising for years.
Look, that is exactly right. Illegal immigration is a crisis. It's a national security crisis. It's a law enforcement crisis. But it's also an economic crisis. 12 million people here illegally takes jobs from Americans and drives down wages for everyone. And I am the only candidate in this race who has been leading the fight against amnesty and against immigration for years. As president, I will build a wall, we'll triple the Border Patrol, we'll increase fourfold the fixed-wing and rotary-wing aircraft. We will put in place a strong E-Verify system at the workplace so that you can't get a job without demonstrating you're here legally. We'll put in place a biometric exit-entry system so visa holders can't overstay. We will end sanctuary cities, and the way we'll do that is we'll cut off the federal taxpayer funds to any jurisdictions that defy federal immigration laws. Yeah. And we're going to end welfare benefits for those here illegally.
What do you make of Governor McAuliffe of Virginia allowing felons to vote in this election? And by the way, in what is a very purple state by any standard, 206,000 violent felons, giving them the right again to vote. Do you think that's an effort, illegal effort to help Hillary? You know the Constitution and law as well as anybody.
Oh, listen, Terry McAuliffe has always been a political animal, and it's not complicated that he's acting to try to help Hillary Clinton. You know, I don't know any reasonable person who looks at our democracy and says the thing we need is more murderers voting, more rapists voting, more violent criminals voting. I don't think that makes a whole lot of sense. But at the end of the day, what this election is going to be about is it's going to be a referendum about the path we're on. The Obama-Clinton path, the Obama-Clinton economy isn't working, and people want to get back to the system that works. People want to see manufacturing jobs coming back to Pennsylvania, coming back to Indiana. People want to see energy explored. People want to see coal. Stop this war on coal. We're the Saudi Arabia of coal. We're the Saudi Arabia of natural gas. Let's develop our resources, drive down energy prices, and bring
Senator,
back manufacturing jobs. That's my priority.
You know, everything you just mentioned there, I put out in 2014. I had the Conservative Solution Caucus. And Republicans have not put forth an inspiring vision. They've been weak and timid in battling back the Obama agenda. They punted on executive amnesty. The rule of law and the Constitution are in play there.
Yep.
They never repealed or used the power of the purse to stop aspects of Obamacare. Right. And I know a lot of people are angry and frustrated about this. And that frustration seems to have bubbled over into the presidential nominating process.
Right.
Are you confident that the Republicans can regain their footing, be united in November after all this is said and done?
Yes, if we actually stand for principles, if we stand for conservative principles that work. And this election now has boiled down into a clear choice. If you're a conservative, there is only one proven conservative in this race. The difference is between night and day. Donald pretends to be an outsider. But remember, Donald Trump has funded liberal Democrats from Nancy Pelosi to Harry Reid to Chuck Schumer to Hillary Clinton to Jimmy Carter for 40 years. He's also funded the Republican establishment. And on the issues, it is striking how many issues Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton agree with. Just this week, Donald Trump came out and said he agrees with Hillary Clinton that we should raise taxes. I strongly disagree. If I'm elected president, we'll pass a flat tax and abolish the IRS. Just this week, Donald Trump came out and said he agrees with Hillary Clinton that grown men should be allowed in little girls' bathrooms. I strongly disagree. I think enough with the political correctness. Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton agree on the individual mandate in Obamacare. I strongly disagree, and as president, I'll repeal Obamacare. And one final point, Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton agree on taxpayer funding for Planned Parenthood. They both think Planned Parenthood is, quote, terrific. As president, I will defund Planned Parenthood and instruct the Department of Justice to open an investigation and prosecute any and all criminal violations.
All right, Senator, we'll probably see you in Indiana. We'll probably see you in California and maybe even states in between. We appreciate your time. Senator Cruz, thank you.
God bless.